Hi, happy Mercedesing. In this video, I'm going to be talking about something that is related to the Eha valve. So this is an on-demand video. I promised to do this video for one of my subscribers because I want to prove him something that he was thinking about, and I personally think that this video can contribute for all of you. He thought that if you have no fuel flow towards your injectors or to the cylinders, that the main culprit for that is the Eha valve, which is wrong. That's not true. And maybe you have noticed that I'm standing all far to the right, mine to the left and yours to the right. That's because I want this wall to be my table. I have to write some things, and there you will see. That's why it's like this. Well, to start all this story, you have to understand that there is a system pressure. System pressure is the pressure coming from the pump. That one, as much as you have it, it cannot be readjusted. It cannot be changed. So that much. And this pressure must not fall. Let's say, or drop. However you want, but that's how it is. So now let's presume that this pressure is 6 bar. Of course it isn't, but for the purposes of this video, if we had one and only pressure, then it would come to the situation that the valves, the differential valves, would close, and you would not have any fuel flow at all, no matter how much you press the accelerator. So no fuel flow at all. That's why we have to diminish this system pressure, and that leads us to the control pressure. The control pressure is the pressure diminished either by the Eha valve or by the differential valves themselves. So, the engineers in Bosch came to that calculations that the ideal pressure, that the ideal difference between the two pressures has to be 0.4 bar. As we have 0.4 bar, then we have an ideal pressure difference. Everything, now remember this, 0.4 bar, this nominal value. Everything above number 4, 0.5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 1 whole bar. That's an extremely rich mixture. Everything below 0.4, 0.3, 2, or 1, that's called an extremely lean mixture. Now, I have that video on the Eha valve, and I'm going to put that link here. there you will see I have explained in details how this part works. But now for the needs of this video, let it be something in brief. So we have permanent magnets, we have electromagnets, and one crucial thing between there is, it's called baffle plate. That rests like this. Let's say something like this. And for the purpose of this video, we're going to say that these two are just holes. As I've already told you, the more this baffle plate moves towards these two holes, the more pressure, the control pressure, now we're talking about the control pressure, starts falling, starts dropping. And the difference between two pressures now rises. So the differential pressure starts to rise. As this happens, now this pressure starts opening the valves. It makes pressures on the differential valves. The ones in the lower chamber start falling down, and the ones in the upper chamber start also going down. So as the diaphragm between those two is, then they go down. The more the pressure, the differential valves open, the more fuel is going to flow in to the cylinders. So more fuel, the richer the mixture, and vice versa. The more this baffle plate moves back from these two holes, the more the pressure in the lower chamber rises. It's not now 5.6, it's 5.7, 8, 9, let's say, and the differential pressure falls. The less number in the differential pressure from 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, 2.1, the leaner the mixture. And now what happens? The plates down there in the lower chamber move the diaphragm upwards, and the ceramic valves in the upper chamber close. The less passage to those holes, the less fuel, and that's lean mixture. That's how it goes. So now all of this I'm talking about is under the circumstance that no one was unscrewing this screw and then readjusting the 2 mils screw. Because let me explain you what happens as you turn clockwise the 2 mils screw. This baffle plate, because this part is made the way it cannot be opened, only to break it. But I'm going to show you what's inside. I'm showing you that. So this baffle plate. Now, the more you, as I've already told you, the more you screw the screw in, then the more it goes, it moves towards the holes. The more you turn the screw counterclockwise, the more it goes away from these two holes. But I told you that this is under the circumstance that no one has been messing around with this adjustment screw, that it is factory adjusted. And now, what happens if something on the EHA fails? For example, wires or something like that, and no current from the ECU comes to the EHA, then this baffle plate rests like this, upwards in its one and only in that let's say original position, and that needed differential pressure is built up, these 0.4 bar. So the fuel here enters to the EHA, but nothing happens. So KE is made that way that even if the EHA fails or the ICV, that the engine is not going to stall. But now you're going to have a car with not such good acceleration. The cutoff phase is not going to be as it has to be. And now let me show you how this baffle plate inside, how it is. So you can, with that adjusting screw, move it towards the hose or backwards, and that's its adjustment. And as the ECU now sends the current to the EHA, it moves this plate, its upper part, towards or away from the hose. So it moves like this. Now, as for these two connections, 1 and 2, they're both connected to the ECU. Number 1 to the connection to the pin number 10, and number 2 to pin number 12. Now I cannot tell you which one is positive and which one negative, because the current is changed each time you start the car or stall the car, so you will have to then check with the multimeter, and it is going to show you if number 1 is positive or if it's negative. So that's something you will have to see. And so I believe I've managed to explain that if you have no fuel flowing to the cylinders, then the culprit is not the EHA valve. the culprit is then either the fuel distributor or something else. If it's the fuel distributor, well, you will have to take it off, to wash it, and then to change all the rubber parts, to reassemble it again, and that's it. So my dear ones, if you enjoyed this video, then please don't click the button skip ad. It is going to help me a lot. And till the next video, happy Mercedesing. Bye.